They're at pick 29 in the first round. Cleveland has traded back in with Green Bay. First team since the 2013 Vikings to have 3 first-round picks. Where do they go this time?
With the 29th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select David Njoku, tight end, Miami.
There, the celebration in Miami, and that makes 5 first-round picks out of Miami at the tight end spot since 2000. John, this kid is young, and he can do some things.
Well, he's a 6'11" high jumper in high school, 37.5 vertical, only 6% body fat, Mel. This is a young pup. He's going to be a 20-year-old rookie. He's like a big wide receiver, and his best work is clearly after the catch. You can detach him and isolate him like a wide receiver. You can put him in the slot. The best thing this man does is run routes, and he's very good after the catch. He has a long way to go as an inline blocker. They have Gary Barnidge, a veteran tight end, who can service a lot of different roles, but this is a joker tight end that is good in any formation, and he can catch the rock, and he is a hard man to tackle, Mel.
16.6 yards per catch during his career. Speaks to his athleticism, no doubt about that. He had 1 touchdown catch in 2015, 8 this past season. He had 43 catches, only had 21 the previous season. This is a kid that put it all together at one point this year, and that was it. Last 8 games, he was on fire.
Listen, he joins Bubba Franks, Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow, and Greg Olsen as Miami tight ends going in the first round since 2000. He's going to Cleveland. By the way, the 10th Alabama player selected in this draft, the school's most in the common draft era. And it's a run on safeties. A 3rd straight safety pick, and this time, Mel, it's Rayshawn Jenkins out of the U.
Think about it, kid, 6'1", 215 pounds. He was 3rd on a team with 76 tackles. Led the Hurricanes, actually with only 2 picks. Ranked 2nd on that team with 7 pass breakups. Had an injury in 2014. He's got a pretty good combination of size and speed. I like 9 career interceptions. Run support, good read reactability. You look at his run support ability, his coverage skills, both areas. He got a little too caught up, I think, wanting to make the big hit instead of breaking down, maybe try to cheat a little bit on some interception possibilities. I thought he gambled a little too much, but he certainly made plays. Like I say, 9 career interceptions speaks for itself.
Yeah, and you look at the Chargers, they early on went wide receiver and then guard twice, which I understand. If we're not, we got a little window here with our quarterback and Philip Rivers. Let's protect him and let's get him weapons. But safety was definitely a position coming into the draft we thought they would address. They do in the 4th round. Rayshawn Jenkins, a player, I like his toughness, like his frame. I think he can be a contributor, maybe early on at special teams in some sub packages.
Well, interesting, he's all about competition. He's one of 16 siblings in his family, so they had to compete for everything, including space at the dinner table. He is ready to roll, Rayshawn Jenkins is, and of course he has been selected, and Rayshawn Jenkins is going to the LA Chargers. All right, Carolina has now taken cornerback Corn Elder out of Miami, and it's not the first time the first name of Corn has been in the draft. Corn Reddick was a wideout taken by the Eagles in '96, Mel, but you knew that.
Blaze a little bigger than his size, Trey. He's about 5'9", 3/4, 5'10", about 183 pounds. Playmaking ability is there. He didn't have a lot of interceptions, but he makes plays in other ways. On the blitz, he had 3 sacks this past year, contribute heavily on special teams. He's a good tackler. Look at his slot corner. He led the team with 12 pass breakups for the 2nd straight year, tied for 3rd in tackles. He's around the ball a lot. He's impactful against the run, and he helps you out on special teams as well. I think you look at Corn Elder, the dynamic will be special teams, slot corners now. This is a passing league. You need 4 corners. You need 4 guys that can cover. He's going to make this football team.
Carolina has put together a pretty interesting draft with Curtis Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, the big offensive tackle. They've gone defensive end, and now they get Horn Elder, the cornerback out of Miami. 7 in the 40, a school record 4 kickoff returns for scores. All right, what was a huge problem for the Minnesota Vikings last year? It was blocking up front. They get Danny Isidora out of the U.
Yeah, he started his final 39 games of his career at Miami at right guard. He's got the size. He's 6'3", 306 pounds. He's got toughness. I love just the edge that he plays with. And I think he's got enough power to develop into a pretty good reserve offensive lineman, a little bit of versatility in terms of interior offensive line. Struggled in the Senior Bowl week, got exposed a little bit in pass protection, can be a little bit top-heavy at times, but I think he's a lot better in terms of his run blocking, and I think you just continue to work with him, and hopefully you find a guy who, if you need him in an emergency situation, he can step in and hold his own.
I was impressed as a pulling guard. I thought he did a good job. He held up fairly well in pass protection. I think he's got a shot. I think Danny Isidora, with that kind of ability, has a chance to make that team.
All right, we'll see if those picks pay off. Meanwhile, a curious selection for the New Orleans Saints. Defensive end Quadin Muhammad out of Miami of Florida. He was suspended from Miami's 2015 opener and all of 2014 after breaking the nose of a fellow student in an altercation. For that one, he was not charged. But Muhammad, along with linebacker Jermaine Grace, was dismissed from the program last August after the school said the pair committed NCAA violations. The two were investigated by Miami for their dealings with a local luxury car rental agency. Muhammad then enrolled at Hampton University but never reported, instead declaring his intention to enter the 2017 draft, and he goes in the 6th round to New Orleans. For what he is as a player, Mel, what do you say?
Well, you got to go back to 2015, Trey, and that year he led the team in tackles for loss and sacks. When you watch the tape from 2015, go back to the Virginia Tech game. You saw physical tools to work with, raw from a technical standpoint. He's got a swim move. He has some power in his hands, which helps him as a bull rusher. He showed some willingness to play the run. I actually saw him drop into coverage on a couple occasions, broke down well to make a tackle. There's some things to work with there, Todd, obviously, with the ability he showed 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I watched his tape. I thought versatile guy who can be a left defensive end, strong side, outside linebacker. I think that he kind of fits what Dennis Allen wants to do, that 4-3 hybrid scheme, and brings a little bit of versatility there. We'll see if he can get things back on track and take football seriously and stay out of trouble, because he's got some raw ability.
Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions are now on the clock. Let's listen in.
To make the next pick for the Detroit Lions, here is Lions fan Chase Adler.
What's up, Lions Nation? With the 215th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Brad Kaaya, quarterback, Miami.
So Brad Kaaya is finally off the board, and he becomes the first quarterback drafted from quarterback U since the Niners took Ken Dorsey in the 7th round in 2003.
I tell you, looking down at gun barrel, he will do that. He will take hits in the pocket. He can deliver some accurate strikes, but his accuracy comes and goes, and I think that's the issue with Brad Kaaya. There he takes another hit. He took a lot of those during his career. His toughness cannot be critiqued. He can't be questioned. Now here again with an accurate throw down the field, but you didn't see that on a regular basis. His mobility is not going to wow you over. He buys time, but it's not something he's going to beat you with. I thought he needed another year at the collegiate level at Miami to hone those skills, to become more accurate, more precise, and more consistent throwing the football.
Yeah, I think he has more potential than with what we saw at Miami, and I think part of it, not all of it, but part of it is that this guy took an absolute beating.
He did
not have protection as a quarterback. Now, there were times where he held on to it a little bit too long, but I give him a lot of credit. At 214 pounds, he was bulked up, 6'4". You see that leaner frame. It was like every single week watching his tape and just worrying about his health out there, but he kept bouncing back. He kept hanging in there. I think he got into some bad habits, and I think a fresh start is great for him. Go to a place where you're going to not have to play it all. You're going to learn from a quarterback who has developed over the course of his career. And maybe when Matt Stafford moves on, it's your time. In the meantime, you get an opportunity here to show what you can do to your team, but also put some good tape out there in the preseason and just learn the position with a little bit better protection.
Yeah, it's no wonder that he didn't have real good success throwing the ball deep. I wouldn't either if I was getting smashed like that.
No.
And they had to adjust the offense. You saw him throw a lot of bubble screens, slants, little intermediate digs, and he doesn't have any escapability. That's one of the things that teams were concerned about. And then down in Miami, that was just the worst combination for him. Wherever he goes, no disrespect to Miami, but it'll be an improvement because maybe you can get him some protection and really see, as you said, what he's really made of as far as being an accurate throw.
Not only that, but he had 3 different head coaches in 3 different systems while he was in Miami. One of those head coaches he played for in Miami was Al Golden. Al Golden, now the tight end coach for the Detroit Lions, so a familiar face and a familiar coach for Brad Kaaya to try and assimilate to the NFL through that coach. For more on Brad Kaaya and the Lions quarterbacks, let's check in with Adam Schefter.
Well, Trey, that's a key point to remember there, Al Golden, and the influence that he had on this decision to take Brad Kaaya here. Brad Kaaya will come in and compete with Jake Ruddock, the former Michigan quarterback, for the #2 quarterback job behind Matthew Stafford, who is headed into the last year of his contract. And the Detroit Lions obviously want to keep Matthew Stafford, and they will try to hammer out an extension at some point later this spring or summer. They would like to get that deal wrapped up so they don't have to place the franchise tag on him again after next season. But for now, they have used a 6th-round pick on Brad Kaaya, who was expected to go much earlier than this part of the draft. Lions, some fortification at the quarterback position. Don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back with the start of the 7th round. The Minnesota Vikings, who might have had some interest in Brad Kaaya, are leading off the 7th round with 2 straight picks when we come back to the 2017 draft.
In New Orleans. Minnesota Vikings have made their selection, and it's Stacy Coley. Only Reggie Wayne has more receptions in Miami history than Stacy Coley.
Look at Stacy Coley, nearly 6 feet tall, 195 pounds. They had David Njoku, Coley for Brad Kaaya to throw to. Like I said, it's a shame they get more time to throw the football. Ran a 4.45 at the combine. Led them in catches with 63 and receiving touchdowns with 9. He's smooth. He's athletic. He's a good route runner. Plays with excellent body control, willing blocker. The more I watch Stacy Coley, the more I appreciated the little things that he does well to be able to work at cornerback, to see the diving catch there, holds on to the football. Kid was a gamer. I liked that. As I watched him week to week, Todd, I liked what I saw of Stacy Coley.
He's going to have to learn how to work. I mean, that's the big thing. A lot of questions about the work ethic, no questions about the ability, especially the ability to get vertical.